just want to show you a few tips and tricks with using a BabyBjorn One carrier with a newborn. There's quite a lot of common mistakes that people make, which are going to affect how comfortable this is for you and how safe it is for baby. So I will just run through some of those things and some ways that you can make this a really supportive and safe carrier for you. So to start with, if you're using this with a newborn, you need to make sure you've got all the correct settings before you start. So you need to make sure you have the newborn insert, so this zip on the carrier needs to be zipped up to the part that says newborn position in here. If I hold this bit up, you'll notice under here there's two zips. On a newborn setting, these can be undone, like so. So you get these sort of flappy bits of fabric. This just means that they get some space for their feet and their legs. Okay. And one of the other things just to point out before we start is when the carrier is on, you'll see there's this back clip here. Now at the moment on me, that's quite high up on my back, so when I'm holding the baby, that's going to pull a little bit on my shoulders. Ideally that should be a bit lower on my shoulders. So I will show you how you can change that. If I take the carrier off, so you'll see these buckles here actually slide up and down the whole length of the back strap. So you'll need to experiment a little bit for you to what height is suitable. I'm going to do it a little bit lower down because it felt a bit high on me. And just make sure it's lined up evenly. The other thing to point out is that you want to aim to have this strap here as tight as is comfortable on your body. If this is too loose and too wide, so for example if it was really wide like that, you're not going to get nearly as much support across your back. So if you just tighten that up again, it'll be a bit of experimenting to the tightest setting that's comfortable for you. And then we can put it back on. With the waistband, often people have it very low down on their hips, sort of where the top of their trousers sit. But actually, particularly with a newborn, you're going to need it a little bit higher than that. You're going to want it on your waist, so more like tummy button height. And just put that in there and then tighten it up so it doesn't slip. Okay. So we'll put baby in. I'm going to start by having half of my carrier already done up because a lot of people prefer to do it this way. So I'm going to clip that side in and I'm going to leave the rest of it unclipped. Okay. So one foot through there. Now make sure at this point that baby is nice and snug against your chest and nice and high up on your chest. If you start them too loose and too low, they're going to end up really low. Start them about there. Hit that one. Until you hear it clunk. Okay. This part, at the moment you can't see any of baby, so I'm going to fold that down. This part only needs to come up really as high as their ear. It doesn't need to cover the back of their head completely. And this one, slide in and clip. Okay. Now once you've secured baby in, there's a couple of things you need to check. First of all, you need to check how high up your baby is. Now, ideally you want baby to be high enough that you can kiss the top of their head. And you see I can't do that, so I'm going to need to bring baby up higher. To do that I'm going to bring them up, just lift them up, and then I'm going to find these straps here on these side buckles and I'm going to wiggle my shoulder a bit, pull it down and then pull it directly forward. And as you pull it forward you'll feel it tighten up, so pull it down a little bit and then pull it forward. Now you'll see that baby's much higher, easily kissable. I can see their face. If I would lean forward now, baby's not moving away from me. It's as if I'm still cuddling them, even when I'm leaning forward. Okay, and their knees are nice and tucked up in that nice kind of squat newborn position, and where we unzipped this, it just gives their feet a little bit of freedom. Okay. Another thing just to check is, depending on the size of your baby, if you notice, if you're finding that this gap between this buckle and where their leg is very large, if this is particularly true if you've got quite a small baby or a very newborn, it's a good idea to button up this loop here. So inside the carrier you'll find a little loop, and that can come around and hook over this button here. That just seals up that gap a little bit, and means that there's not a big gap here, any potential for baby to fall out of there. And again, the same on the other side. If you're struggling to do these up, it probably means that your baby's big enough not to have those done up. But when they're new, you probably will. Okay, so there's baby, nice and secure and safe and comfortable. That strap is reasonably low on my back, and baby's not moving around too much. Okay, that's it.